We'll do the pledge of allegiance.
This microphone works, I'll turn off the screen. Bow our heads. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, God, we thank you so much for this and another day, Lord. We're so grateful, Lord, for all your wonderful blessings, Lord, that you bestowed upon us today. Lord, all the breaths that we've taken today, Lord, we've not even really thought about it, Lord. We're just thankful for those things today. Lord, we come to you now, Lord, asking that you bless this meeting, Lord. Bless all that are in attendance, Lord. Bless the city commission, Lord. The mayor and the city manager, Lord. Just bless them, Lord, in a mighty way. And bless this city, Lord, as we move forward. We ask all these things in your dear gracious heavenly name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to call the special called meeting of the Corbin City Commission February 21st at 5 p.m. with a roll call, please.
Moore,
Here.
Shepherd,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Campbell,
Here.
Rasmus,
Here. First on the agenda is to hear a request from Kenny Rogers regarding sidewalk located on 7th Street between Kentucky Avenue and Main Street and take action as a result thereof. Did Kenny come?
I went out there and looked at it, it's right down here, as soon as you turn off Main, over to Kentucky, Mike Wager's going to replace it, so we'll put that on the plan and get it, our cost estimate on first.
Well, I think I know exactly what he's talking about. It's in horrible shape, so.
Yeah, if that part of the section is also two driveways, half gravel, so we can do that.
Do we need a motion to go ahead and fix that?
No, that's, we don't have to.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Approve the minutes from the January 17th regular City Hall Public Corporation meeting and special meeting of the Board of Commissioners.
Motion to approve the meetings, or the minutes from January?
Second.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes. Next is to approve the January bills.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes. All right, next, rehire Caleb Hester as a patrolman in the police department effective 1/21/2023.
Caleb had left us for a while and then wanted to come back, and he's right back out on the street. This was an emergency hire, so we said we'd get him back out full-time. And Rusty, this is what Rusty's approving.
Awesome. Entertain a motion?
Set motion.
Second?
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes. Next on the agenda is to appoint the Personnel Board and the Budget Committee. I'd like to assign Allison Moore and James Gamble to the Personnel Board, and I'm gonna skip the Budget Committee to discuss at a later time on the agenda. I'll need a motion on that.
Set motion. Second.
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes. Next on the agenda is to approve the audit report as presented by CPA Wallace Smallwood. Guess he's, yeah, he did it last meeting, so, all right.
Need approval.
Is that approved? Yes. Set motion to approve.
Second?
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes. All right, second reading of ordinance
2023-1, an ordinance, wait a minute. Yeah. Amending Exhibit A in ordinance 2022-4, the ordinance adopting the annual budget for fiscal year 7/1/22 to 6/30/23.
Ordinance number 2023-1, an ordinance amending Exhibit A of ordinance 2022-4, second reading, February 21st, 2023.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes.
Discuss public comment period for changes to Roy Kidd Avenue traffic pattern and take action as a result thereof. So I think we've got some people that would like to discuss the Roy Kidd changes that have been proposed by the Highway Department. Maybe we can,
One thing, Mayor, I was gonna mention on this, the city did not have, this was not the city's idea. Sherry Chapel, the state engineer, approached the city asking us if we wanted to do this.
I think my biggest concern is the fact that we've actually been alerted to the fact that we've got a safety issue by the Highway Department. So my concern is that even though I know that sometimes things of this nature can be upsetting to people because it's new and you're not familiar with it, now that we know that there is an accident issue, I think that it's our duty to make this change.
But also presents us with a huge liability as a city for any future accidents that occur there, knowing that it is an accident-prone area and that we failed to act on it.
May I
Okay.
ask a question?
There's a question.
I just have a question.
Okay.
Have there been any alternative study, like maybe putting in a stoplight or something of that nature without disrupting the flow of traffic?
Main Street is a public highway, it's US 25.
They don't,
Go ahead.
There's one on Fordon Hills, you turn back onto Main, and they don't recommend putting another light, because they said that would cause these probably more accidents.
Are there numbers that you can present in terms of
We
the
have some
number?
numbers, yes, we can get them for you.
There's not a huge disruption in the flow of traffic either, because you're still gonna be able to go down Main Street and turn right.
I
or
mean, if
left.
you're coming out that correct, like that, it'll be closed that way, correct?
It might, but there's Bell Avenue right there that puts you right on to the bypass as well. So,
you know, another issue too, Josh Van Nordstrom last month had sent a text of a picture where a school bus had actually taken that turn really too tight and hit that pylon in front of the Crawford Law Office, which is a historical building. And they had scraped the school bus, so the problem with the school buses there as well is that they're coming down Main Street and then they need to swing right onto Roy Kidd. And then if there's a car on the left-hand lane, they're afraid to pull out because they can't see for the bus. So then you kind of have a little bit of a jam there as well, because I've witnessed that. And then I've also witnessed, like I said, via text, the accident. So the school is for this. The Board of Education is for this.
we
And
actually have a statement too, don't we, from the school, from Josh Van Nordstrom?
probably.
Yeah. You wanna read it?
And also, in reference to Roy Kidd being turned one way from Main Street and Roy Kidd Avenue to the corner of Depot and Roy Kidd Avenue. Corbin Independent School Buses have a difficult time turning right on the Roy Kidd Avenue from Main Street. I believe while making this turn, it would definitely benefit turning that section of Roy Kidd into a one-way street. So,
So they,
another issue that I see is that we've got some historic buildings on Roy Kidd that have no parking available to them at all. And Corbin doesn't have a lot of nice older buildings anymore. A lot of them have been torn down. Without any parking there except for parallel, which, as we all know, parallel parking is not something that people like to do, let's just put it that way. without parking on Roy Kidd, extra parking on Roy Kidd, I don't really see that any of those buildings will be, able to be really developed any more than they already are. They're really underutilized right now. The Old Hall Watson is storage. The Graham Trimble Law Office is empty. The Clock is empty. And the Crawford Law Office, you rarely see anybody there. We need to have a vibrant downtown. And parking is a big part of a vibrant downtown. I think that this not only helps with safety issues, but it also increases the value of those properties on Roy Kidd because it gives them extra additional parking spaces. This is not a huge upheaval of change. It's not like back, when was it, 40 years ago, when we made Main Street one way and Kentucky one way. That was a big deal. This is 2 blocks that's been requested by the highway department that cost the city of Corbin $0 and improves visually. It improves traffic flow, and it makes it prettier. It looks kind of forgotten right now. So it's just a pass-through. I want to see Corbin grow. That's what I was elected to do, and so that's why I'm for it. Does anybody have any questions, like, about how the traffic pattern would go? Or is everybody, go ahead,
I
Marlon.
was
You
gonna
can.
explain that. This is the overpass coming down. You will be able to take a left. You'll actually create 5 parking spaces. I'm sorry, 6 parking spaces here. Another issue that we have is Kurt White's office here. He has to rent from Robert there, the housing authority, 5 spaces. They're short parking spaces there. He pays rent to the housing authority for those parking spaces he has now. He has tenants that need to be parking there, but some tenants have to go over and park behind Main Street. You want to speak, Robert?
Can I say
Yes.
something? I know most of you, but I'm Robert Hayes with the Housing Authority. We are in desperate need for parking in the Cooper Building downtown. And I met with Mr. Wyatt and his son this evening. And, you know, we're trying to balance supporting the business community, and in turn, as the mayor has talked about, having a vibrant place for people to live and shop and eat. Right now, we are repurposing that building. The Greater Corbin Housing Board today voted to focus that building as an entrepreneurial building for early entrepreneurs, people who are artists and residents, educators, distinguished retirees that are in the business community and so forth, because we are going to have to raise the rent in that building if we're going to keep the building and keep those living spaces. The rent had not been raised in many years. And improperly, that building had been subsidized by the public housing. We can no longer do that. The public housing is now pretty much, its house is in order, and we're stabilizing financially, everything's looking good. But that's created an issue for us trying to keep that building open downtown. And I know this has changed, but I would really ask you to consider it, because we're doing everything we can do to save that building downtown. And it's hard to rent apartments at around market price to be able to maintain the building, and I can't say to the tenants, you have a parking place, just one parking place. And then after speaking with Mr. Wyatt today, and a lot of you have probably known him for a long time, he's known my family for a long time. You know, we're trying not to impact their business negatively, but it's just, we're really in a bad situation here. And I would ask the public and certainly the council to really consider the needs of the Cooper Building downtown, because we have exciting things coming for that building, and I think we can stabilize it financially if we can just get this parking straightened out. So I didn't mean to give you all a big speech, but I would ask you to really consider that.
And that's the original City Hall. That's an important building for our community. And if it's not able to be solvent and pay its own bills, the city's got a problem. Because we can't use taxpayer dollars to subsidize someone's rent. I don't think people would appreciate that. Nobody subsidizes my mortgage. So I think that in order for us to make sure that that building can be with us for a long time, we need to do everything in our power to prop it up.
As I was stating, you will come off Kentucky. There will be parking spaces here that'll have several markings where you don't pull out on traffic. And this is one of the issues here. And over here, there's a lot of T-bones are happening. That's when they reported that to us, mostly T-bone wrecks are happening. So especially here, coming up Roy Kid and crossing lane, people are pulling out and causing those T-bones. But you'd have the regular parking here, come across, it'll give you enough turns, especially for, we have tractor trailers that actually come through there, we also have school buses. This will give you almost 27 parking spaces down through here. Your traffic will go right here to the stoplight. That ends the one way. Then you'll go up left here, or you go right here, Depot Street.
So if you were coming down Roy Kidd, you could still take a left onto Depot Street?
You can take a left
So-
there, or take a right, the school board there beside them and Dr.
Right.
Which I believe they're here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Acob and Etienne.
I do, I want to pass this out to my fellow colleagues here. I do have some numbers here about some accident reports, so if you want to take one and pass it down for me. So the parking situation that's been addressed by Mr. Hayes, now I do think that the commission would be willing to look at other options for more parking over there. Now that conversation has not taken place, and I do think there's other options that could occur if we could have that discussion, of course, without changing Roy Kidd and where. So if we've not had the discussion about the intersection there, and so the connecting road that connects to Kentucky Avenue, you know, if we still wanted to do something like that, I mean, we could have a conversation about that on here. Now, as far that wouldn't require changing Roy Kidd to a one-way street. Okay, that wouldn't require that at all. I mean, traffic would not be going across Main. Okay, so that's from what Marlon has said. That's been one of the issues that we've heard.
I'm confused, what?
Yeah, explain again.
So, like that area over there that connects to Kentucky, you know, if we turned it into parking, the area closer to Kentucky. No, well, that with
You're
if
talking about
you want
Kentucky
to,
to Maine?
the Kentucky to Maine, yeah, that area over there.
About stopping it right there.
But I mean, we could have a lot of parking over there if we wanted
It's
to.
not wide
So,
enough to do two-way.
and
You
then
have-
we've heard about. I mean, there's been a few
Sure.
people that said something about a field as well, the area that could be turned into parking as well. So that's just a conversation we could have, but we've not had it.
Well, okay, so the field, turning the field into parking, so we'd have to purchase that property, then we would have to level that field, then we would have to build a parking lot. All of that would take taxpayer dollars. This will cost us nothing.
Also, every future accident that happens there is gonna cost taxpayer dollars now that we are aware by the state that this is a problem area that they identified on Highway 25. And should we fail to act, we are liable.
Well, let's look at this that I've created here. So the last 5 years, we've had 20 accidents that has happened in this corridor area that we're talking about. Okay, so that's the state's numbers. They said that's 20 accidents that we've had in this area. In 2018, this is a 5-year period. 2018, there were 736 wrecks in the city limits of Corbin. 2019, there were 727 wrecks within the city limits of Corbin. In 2020, which there was a slower amount because people were home, 550 wrecks, so it wasn't to that 700 figure, okay? 2021, 652 wrecks, and 2022, 619 wrecks. So we've had 4 there on average, and there's actually intersections, total wrecks per intersection on a 5-year interval that are much higher compared to what we're even discussing right now, like such as, let's see here.
Are
We
you
got,
suggesting that we're waiting on someone to die before we take action?
I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying I don't quite frankly see that this is a public emergency. I mean, by the facts, I mean, here's the stats right here. I mean, does the state,
They've not come to us with other, if
these
you
are
got.
Corbin PD numbers.
The
Now, the
state is
state's-
offering
the state's
today
numbers are
what
on
the
top
highway
right here.
25.
But as far as like the middle and the bottom, this is all Corbin PD. I got this from them.
Well, then we can look at other areas for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, but
Then pop
that's us doing internal research and seeing if we can take these numbers to the state. If you see a particular intersection, Rusty, that you think, you know, hey, and I know Fifth and Poplar is a big deal for Allison. So, you know, we can definitely like get a report and then go advocate for that. They came to us on this situation, so I think it's, we can do both. We can,
All of it.
we can,
do all of it.
yeah.
This one we don't have to pay for, and this would also help with our bike ped grant opportunities and other grant opportunities to fix up the underpass and all of East Corbin.
Also, I've talked to many people during this time as well, and I do have a petition here. There's 133 people within Corbin that has something to do with this area and that live here as well. There's 133 people that have signed this petition to say that they do not want to change Roy Kidd Avenue. So that's a lot of people. I don't, have you all talked to that many people?
I'm not exactly sure that they understand the totality of the situation. So just because some people sign those all the time, but you do have people here, Miss Diane.
Go ahead.
Miss Diane is wanting to speak.
Sure.
Well, no, I didn't claim to speak. I've had dental surgery, so I don't need to be talking, but, I have a question, Marlon. If I understand you correctly, you're going to turn off the bypass onto that section that goes down to the underpass, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. What you'll do is coming down, like you come up the top of Master Street Hill. This is Kentucky here. Turn them off. This is coming down from Master Street here. Instead of going both ways, this will turn into a one-way crossing Main Street. We'll add 6 parking spaces here on the right. You're referring to what you said, Ms. Delbrad, this is from the state, and Sherry did tell us, because that was brought up there, maybe we could close that completely off, and she said there's not enough room. It'll be in one lane. You go across here, here's Main Street, you cross to Roy Kidd, and then this is down Roy Kidd, here's the school board.
Marlon, I'm sorry to interrupt. We were told during the last meeting that the one-way between Kentucky and Maine, that the one-way would be headed west, not east. That's what we were told. And the sign.
That's the way I understood it as well.
May I?
You can turn left or right from Main.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
because we asked that
Well,
question.
you got one way.
And with the signage, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
Marlon's got a much better speaking voice than I do. I'll try to be loud. So I'm a librarian, so I'm used to being quiet. So we were told that you can only turn left here, and that's why this bump out.
I'm sorry,
is
I
right
have
there.
got it
Okay.
first, I'm sorry, you're right, you're right. So you
No,
can't turn,
James-
this will
James
bring you
brought
back
that
in,
up.
I'm
This is
sorry,
correct.
I was reading it wrong. So Ms. Mitchell, this will be coming out here, coming down Main Street, you turn left here, and we'll be parking spaces here. Going across, right here, will be one way, you go to the light right there in front of the underpass of the school. Going through the underpass will not be one way at all.
So Marlon, where would it go if it's coming from the other direction? If you're going one way, you're going.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
If you're going one way, you're going down Roy Kidd, you say it turns into 2. If you're coming back this direction.
If you're coming back from the underpass,
Yes.
Like if you go under the underpass,
this
is that what
is
you're
your
saying?
If I'm on the far right.
this is your business, right?
Yes, so if I come out of my business right there.
You will come under the underpass and you'll either take Depot or you'll take the old Laurel Avenue. we can turn right or left. I know a lot of people don't, other than for Dr. Tenza.
So where does Old Laurel head up to?
You would take a left on Depot Street.
Yeah.
Take
you-
a left on Depot and then you would take a
But
right.
you can go up here.
On Gordon, or, you know, I mean, none
Or
of this
Bell
reroutes,
Avenue.
none of this reroutes maybe a block at the most. So it's just getting used to a new way of taking your normal route that we've taken for many, many years. It's just a change that would occur that would help to alleviate some parking issues, alleviate some safety issues, and beautify that street to where perhaps we could see some economic development in that area. Yes, Sarah?
Has anybody kind of, considered the impact of having to turn left onto Depot or right? Like, essentially, it's removing one of the major, exit points. Has anyone kind of studied the impact of that? Because that left turn onto Depot, that's not an easy turn either. And if you guys ever deal with.
Well, they're not supposed to be turning right on red. That's another access point that we've got there as well. So they're gonna have to learn to stop where they're supposed to stop, which is about halfway up that hill on Depot as you're coming down. That's a no turn on red. Now, I don't know if we need to make the sign bigger, or maybe people will understand that they shouldn't be doing that, because it does cause problems. But they will learn quickly that they don't need to be going down there.
Mayor.
Yep.
Sherry did speak and said that they would add some more markers here and some more stop signs. That there is a white line across that for people stopping, and I'm guilty as anybody.
I am too.
I go right down to the light and look to make sure nothing's coming, then I turn right on.
Right.
But they will
Right.
make this more visible.
Yeah.
What's the road that?
We
actually
certainly
by
don't have the
Sarah's
money to do
business-
it, let's put it that way, to beautify that road.
The Central Automotive that takes you all the way back out to the overpass.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
What is the road next to, I know, the Southeast Medical Supply across from
Laurel
the
Avenue.
Laurel Avenue, that's right, Laurel Avenue. I was getting it confused with Bell. That takes you right back out. So instead of having to go under the underpass, you can just,
But a lot of people do come downtown.
yeah.
Like from the post office and library, they do come here. But you can take a right here, coming under the underpass, go right here where the volleyball courts are,
A
and
left.
back on the board.
A left.
A left and then a right on
Take a
Gordon.
left, yeah,
Yeah.
turn right. And you come right out here, and you're back on Main Street here, you go across the border, and then you're back on Kentucky.
My question, one reason I asked that question is, so you're still gonna have traffic one way on going across Main Street, is that correct?
You will not know, all right, so if you're going on Main,
Street, if you're coming up Main Street, or if you're on Roy Kidd, say, okay? If you're on Roy Kidd from Kentucky, you will not be able to, well, you won't be able to go that way. No, it won't
have to split.
it won't cross Main anymore. If you're on Roy Kidd, you'll either go left to go to Kentucky, or you'll go right to go to the underpass. So,
Okay, I
so it's,
understand that, but if you're coming off the
Overpass.
overpass or whatever we call that,
You won't be
you
able to
will
turn.
still turn,
left on Depot, left on Depot. You will not go, that's one way coming toward the underpass.
So if you're going up the hill, you can only turn left or you can only turn right. You will not be able to go up the hill past the board, no longer with this plan, basically.
You know,
and I know also that in speaking with the Board of Education, I know Dr. Acob and Atienza, you all have limited parking. This would alleviate some of those pinch points that you have there with parking, because the Board of Education, I know only has a very limited amount, so sometimes your patients have a tendency to park in that lot as well.
No, we have enough parking.
Okay.
On the-
Well, I think maybe they just don't know, but,
Yeah, the boards are the one actually using our parking.
well, then this will help that.
What my concern, our concern actually is our patients. You know, we serve the big Tri-County area. And-
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're not from here.
And we don't want them to get into an accident.
Yes, the 4 accidents that Mr. Brand was saying was, it may become 40, because I'm geriatrics. So, I started at 65. We've been in that area for 20 years. right? So my patients are 80 to 85. Change their route, you're gonna have accident. And they're not from here.
I understand your concerns, absolutely, and I hope that you understand our concerns as the city. Yes, sir.
I've just become aware of this today. I'm still confused on which direction, what's going in. I understand your guys' argument that, you've got a traffic issue with, the state has come to you with 20 accidents. How many of those were injury accidents and how many of them were fatalities?
Does it
And
matter?
which
We're not
one?
gonna wait on somebody to die. I don't wanna wait on
In
somebody to
a
die.
35-mile-an-hour zone, I don't believe they're gonna die. And the stats that I pulled before I come up here, there's more accidents in the Kroger parking lot than there is at that intersection here.
Well, there's been no fatalities in
There
that
has been
area.
no fatalities and there's been no injury accidents. So.
Is that right, Russ?
I'm just not comfortable when you have, and this is just me, I respect everybody that's in this room. I'm not comfortable having professionals from the state come down and tell us that we have a problem and they have a low-cost fix for us, and they're asking us to do it, when then I also recognize that we have parking issues and that we've got buildings that are important to our city, that in order for them to be salvageable, they need parking. So to me, it's worth the pain of learning a new way to drive on two small sections. It's, in my opinion, it's more important to err on that side as to not make this change.
Another concern that I have is about the angled parking, as far as on the Hall Watson wall. With parking on the wall there, I mean, it depending on where you're parking on the wall. If you're closest to the steps, that's one thing, but if you're not, you're gonna have to walk into the street in order to reach your destination, in order, like as far as if you're walking up and going to like somewhere else, like say if you're walking to your apartment building, you'll have to walk up the hill a little bit before you reach a
There's
sidewalk.
the
because
steps, you could walk down and up those steps.
you're still gonna have to, depending on where you're parked at, you're still gonna have to go into the road and walk, because if
You
you're
have
in
to
the
go into the
middle.
road you gotta go into the road on parking as far as it's concerned on Main Street.
But do
Whenever you-
people walk in the
when you
middle of the
parallel
street on
park.
Main Street? I mean, that's jaywalking. I mean, I don't see that each crosswalk.
They have to get out of their car, the passengers get out of their car and they have to walk around. I
Are they
mean,
in the middle of the
that's
road?
an issue.
They won't
It's
be
not
in
the middle of the road.
How can you,
There'll be only one lane of traffic on.
There's only one lane, that's a
understand
wide
that.
street.
And I get that, but there's no sidewalk infrastructure over there depending on where you're at on that wall. You're gonna have to literally walk out for just a little bit.
You'll have
and
to
walk
walk
over.
4 or 5
All right.
cars.
Is that correct?
I'm gonna enter, okay, go ahead, Rob.
I just have one question, and I know the state doesn't wanna do this, cause they hate traffic lights. But a traffic light there would solve the whole problem.
It wouldn't, because of Gordon Hill and turning left on Main, you cannot have another traffic light there. We've already had that
Well, we
discussion.
have a traffic light on 4th and 5th, that's a sign on Kentucky.
I'm just telling you, they won't put a light there. That is not an option, it's off the table.
Well,
We've had
would
that
sure-
conversation.
That would sure slow down the traffic on Main Street.
I know, but they won't do it.
Okay.
That's the
Well-
thing. All right, I think we're kind of getting circular now.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
They sent us back, February the 15th from the state highway department for their highway safety improvement program. That's what they identify all the wrecks in different areas of Corbin, all over the state. Roy Kidd Avenue was identified as one such location for high crashes. Over the last 5 years, 20 accidents have occurred at this section. And the main ones were angled, which is T-bone. That's what they're talking about, because people are pulling out to look and see if there's any oncoming traffic. They said that there is a sight distance problem. From reviewing the police accident reports and viewing the site in the field, the main concern was vehicles pulling off Roy Kidd Avenue onto 25W. And they're just saying by changing the traffic flow, will not allow the movement from Roy Kidd onto 25W. The potential collision point is eliminated. And this is from the State Highway Department.
I saw somebody else's hand up in there.
Yeah, I'd like to, mention something that I haven't heard touched on yet with if we did change to a one-way. I'm a resident of Roy Kidd Avenue, and I use the sidewalks a lot, I use the walking path as well. I see a lot of people walking on the path. One thing I've noticed about one-ways, and it's been studied, is that when a two-way goes to a one-way, typically the average flow of traffic is quicker, which sounds like it's flowing better, but what that means is there's people going faster, exceeding the speed limit more quickly.
It's only one block, though. It's only one
It's one
block.
block that my 18-month-old girl lives on, that I'm raising her.
No, there's nobody lives on that. Where do you live on Roy Kidd?
417 Roy Kidd Avenue.
So where is
In the
that?
whole, is it?
Are you in the Hall
It's
Watson
in the hall.
building?
I'm not. If there's
That's the
traffic-
only block that's the only block that's being affected, is the two blocks, the one of Roy Kidd from Kentucky to Maine and the one from Maine to Depot. No other part of Roy Kidd is being affected, just those two blocks.
Beyond the bridge, because I know we've had a little bit of discrepancy.
No,
That's a-
no,
It
it's,
stops
that,
at the bridge.
we're not touching that.
Yeah, it stops at the
Yeah.
bridge.
We've been
Correct.
confused.
Okay, we've got a really, go ahead, doctor.
Have you considered if there's a flood on that bridge while it's one way, what are we gonna do? You know, we have flash floods all the time,
The underpass.
the underpass.
We are working on that.
I'm not,
Is
I'm
there
not
a
sure
plan
that
that's
that,
fully with that?
I don't think that
situation like
this change would, I don't think that this change would have any effect on that whatsoever. But the reason that underpass flooded was that one of the pumps wasn't working. So that, the underpass hadn't flooded for a long time, and then it flooded several months ago. One of the pumps wasn't working. There's two pumps, they're both working. We're not gonna have, it didn't flood a few days ago, we got hit horrifically, and it was fine.
Mayor, it did. But we had they had to go in and clean the garbage out that come down through there.
Okay.
I think there's been a lot of, unfortunately, some misinformation spread. I guess this is a tough issue to understand, but what it comes down to is this is one block. Here's a safety hazard that was presented to us by the state, creates more parking, helps the housing authority, beautifies downtown, and will help to increase economic development. And it's one block.
I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I know with all the people I've spoken with, I mean, they knew straight up what this was about. They knew that the entire Roy Kidd Avenue was not gonna be a one-way street. And so I talked to many people, and I have 133 signatures. I plan on.
Upset about a two block period. Okay.
Well, I'm not done talking, so you can hold it up a little bit, okay? Let me say what I just don't want to be interrupted. I didn't interrupt you, and so please show me the same courtesy, okay? The only thing that I want to say is that these people are the ones that elected me. At the end of the day, I'm going to listen to them. And I have overwhelmingly seen such a resistance towards wanting to do this, okay? Times Tribune has had a poll since February the 10th. It is 75% saying no, they do not want these changes, and 16% and some change saying that they do want this change, okay? That's overwhelming. Okay, I've talked to many people that do not want this. I'm gonna follow what they want us to do, because that's why I'm here, okay? I'm not here to think that I'm smarter than everybody that tells me what they would like to do, okay? I hear their concerns, and so I'm gonna be a no vote on this.
How many people was on the phone? Do you know?
That might be something you could ask the Tribune. Are they here?
I was asked to vote multiple times in different browsers,
Well, with my,
which I didn't.
yeah, with the browser that I was on, it locks it though, so I didn't realize that you could vote with multiple browsers if that's the case, but.
That's what.
It's just a shame because, you know, the city, you know, we're a town of 8,000. We're a railroad town without a railroad. We're not a county seat. So I was elected because I was gonna do everything I could to move this city forward and to give it every opportunity to be here 100 years from now. Because we can all just assume that we're gonna be here in 100 years, but it is not a given. Southeast Kentucky is experiencing a huge decrease in population. If I can do something that will improve safety, that will make a housing authority building something that we can be proud of, that has parking spaces for each individual space, beautifies, just like Allison said, I'm willing to do it. I'm sorry if I upset you people, I don't mean you people, I'm sorry. The citizens of my town, I'm sorry if you're upset. Because I've been elected to be in this position and do the best job that I can possibly do. I work night and day to try to make this town good. I'm not gonna do everything that you want me to do because we're different people. But I think that this will be something good for the city. And so I'm for it. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. But we need to move on because we've got a really, really big agenda. And any of you are welcome to come and talk to me in my office. I'm here all the time, even though it's not my full-time job. I'm here all the time. And then when I'm sorry, but we've got to move forward, okay?
If he has a question, we have time for this.
I would like to talk before you guys vote on this, not in your office after this. I believe that's my time to speak. Being a taxpayer, citizen of Corbin, I feel like I've got an agenda to speak. I feel like there's two council members that are deaf to the issue. I'm neutral on it. I don't know what's going on with it. I'd like to have some answers with it. I've not got fully satisfied with that yet, but because the state is paying for it, and the city buys trolleys, the city buys trains, the city buys all kinds of things that they spend millions of dollars on. And for them to have 20 wrecks is not a justification of something that is gonna affect me personally, that I don't know what they're affecting. And I'm sorry if I speak up and I say that, because, I feel like my taxpayer money goes somewhere. And, I've not got my answers yet. And I don't wanna talk about this after, and I know you guys have a long agenda, and you're voting to listen. And if we're gonna be here till midnight, I need some answers. And along with these other people that stand here, Dr. Atienza, she's probably paying 1% of who knows how many millions of dollars. These are a lot of city money that you're getting here, and there's several businesses down here that's probably paying in revenues of over several $1 million. If it affects them and they move, where does the city money go? Where do they take the revenue from the city that comes out of that? To put 6 places of car space, and if the housing authority is worried about that, I have 100 rentals. I rent them every day. They're more than welcome to come see me.
This is, the Cooper Heath is a historical building that is owned by the city of Corbin. If we have to sell it because it's not solvent, we'll have to sell it. And it worries me on who might buy it and what they might do with it.
What is the plan for it? You're gonna say, you're gonna get 6 parking spaces in there,
That's actually not for, it's to where the insurance building doesn't have to use those spaces anymore, is all. They rent spaces from Cooper Heath because they don't have any parking.
Who cares? That's their problem. Buy a bigger space.
Well, then they'll move out and maybe we'll lose their tax
They're gonna
dollars.
lose more.
But listen, you did mention the train.
Well, I'm just answering keep talking. I'll answer your questions though.
I feel like that, there's an agenda that's been made, and, I'm a pretty open person.
My agenda is growth. My agenda is growth and moving this city forward. I don't have an agenda. I don't own any property down there. I'm trying to do what's best for 8,000 people.
I do, she does,
Okay.
this guy does, and we own property there, and you don't own property there, and we wanna know what's going on.
The city owns property there. They own Cooper Heath.
Okay, what are they gonna do with it?
We are going to have to make it better because it's not solvent.
What is he gonna use it for? What business?
Housing.
Just voted on today.
Housing. It's still gonna be housing, but we've gotta raise the rent because it's not solvent. It's losing money.
Rent's very expensive right now. Rent's gotta go up.
I know, but you can't really rent an apartment without a parking space. It makes it more difficult to actually have that.
How many will it solve? I understand that's what they keep going back to. How many parking spaces will they have there?
Robert, can you answer that? Is it 5, 4? I don't know.
We are short about 5 spaces.
How many units do you have, Robert?
27.
What in the hell is 5 parking spaces when you have 27 units? That's what, it keeps going in circles. and it
Well, we
makes
have
sense.
22 parking places, that we're leasing 5 now. And we've been trying to work with White and White Insurance.
Yes, sir.
Because, we're landlocked there. And I think, Brandon, you mentioned the lot there. Actually, there's a piece of property there and someone approached me about purchasing it, but we just don't have the money. And it would probably cost, and I'm just off the top of my head, $100,000. You know, it's got a retaining wall there, we could have to flatten it, you know, build out parking places and so forth. But basically, we're having to double the rent there. So we're looking at making the building nicer on the outside, sort of a point of pride for Corbin. And, you know, I hear everything's being said here, and I'm just trying to save a little space there, you know. I don't know, we've just got to have some parking if we keep the building.
Five spaces.
We need about 5 more spaces, right?
So-
And that's not visitor parking, that's not.
Is Depot Street an option? It's,
That's what I was gonna say too about Depot Street, because often in cities, as we know, if we've been to many of them, you may walk a block or two from where you park. And what is it for, you know, 5 residents to have to park on Depot to go to, I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of parking there, and I know at nighttime it is not utilized, and there's more than 5 spaces that are there. And that could solve the whole parking issue for that apartment building. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, there's cross pedestrian crosswalks that will line up, that will take you right there. Everything is lit up like it's in a safe environment. So there's more than 5 spots. I mean, there's way more than what you probably would ever need that's over there. So I didn't know if you had thought about that or not.
Can I ask you a question, Robert? What is the age of people renting that?
Well, right now, it's mainly older. And, you know, there's issues of crossing the street, carrying groceries in.
I think too, it's about growth, it's about growing the city, you know, not, we've got plenty of parking spaces. It's about, you know, making our city vibrant and healthy, and I think that having that parking spaces on Roy Kidd like that will then help people to navigate that direction. I understand that, you know, I do apologize, I didn't mean to make you mad.
Well, you didn't make me mad, you called me you people.
I didn't, I'm sorry.
And I'm a voter for this area.
I know.
And I think that was highly offensive.
And I apologize. I apologize.
Because I'm those people that speak up in city council meetings. And I'm sorry that I'm putting you uncomfortable right now, but I feel like that
You're not making me uncomfortable, you're making me feel bad because I didn't mean to do
I
that.
don't want you to feel bad. I want to talk about, we're putting 5 spaces, and I'm just trying to justify.
No, it's 22, it's 22 total.
22 total.
22 total, because of the,
Angled parking is 18.
On
and
the
then
part, I don't mean to interrupt you, Mayor, but on that part, he's talking about there's 6 spaces.
There's 6 spaces. We're changing a 1-lane road, we're a 2-lane road into a 1-lane road to get 6 spaces. If they need 26 or 28 spaces for it.
No, they have parking there already.
Okay.
Since
They have
long
22.
before any of us came into this, there was a deal made with White Insurance and the Housing Authority to rent those spaces out to them for parking, for his business, I'm sorry, for his business people at White. That was done 20 years ago. So this came up that there would be availability for Whites to be able to utilize that for their customers or for anybody that wants to come downtown to park there on the side coming off Kentucky.
I'm just trying to figure out what the agenda is.
There is no
There is
agenda.
no
We were
agenda.
approached by the state.
There's
We
no
were-
agenda.
Well, I mean, the school board says that if Bucks is closed, there's schools that have drove for 40 years on this road.
When you turn, I understand.
And
what
there is a flooding issue because I'm there at it. Every time it rains, Mayor, it floods.
and we've got a planning grant right now that, for a bike ped plan, and they're going to be addressing the underpass and if there's any available opportunity. But we've got to, I mean, it's an issue for sure. That underpass has been an issue since 1930. So, I mean, I'm open to suggestions on the underpass. I'm just trying to solve what problems are right in front of me at the time, and I think that this is a problem. I believe the state that when they say that they don't want to have these accidents here.
And as I said earlier, the other day, the rain came down Jeff actually had to go over himself, our public works director, because so much garbage flows into it. He had to clean the garbage out and started working immediately.
Yeah, because it comes down the hill.
Yeah, everything,
Everything
it comes
on
every way.
both the side of the
Yeah.
hills just washes straight
Yeah,
into it.
and that's what we're trying to do. That's-
It clogs up everything. Every time they're down there, they're doing
That's
that.
why we're trying to get,
Mhm.
we've got the litter people out trying to pick everything up as they can. But unfortunately, that rain came so quick, and it just, by the time Jeff was down there that night and cleaned it out.
Oh, yeah, I see them over there all the time.
I would love to sit down and do all of the places on this list. Anywhere that there's a pressure point, we can sit down and talk about it, and the city can address those as we come to them. The only reason we're doing this one right now is because the state came back. And they said, we're looking at Highway 25, here's an issue, it's a safety issue.
Yeah, but
And it also helps everything else, but now if we don't act,
you're
the
not
city's
liable.
the liable.
You're not liable, the city's immune, that's a lie. The city.
I think morally, I would feel bad if somebody gets
The city
hurt,
cannot
because
be
we've been
sued.
told that it's a problem.
It's a government entity. So the city cannot be sued, it's solvent. That's a lie.
No.
The city can.
In all due respect, you're
That's what
wrong.
I'm concerned, I mean, do any of you have middle schoolers that you pick up currently? If you're in the pickup area down Roy Kidd, it's very congested in the afternoon. And I have business ownership concerns, but also in terms of traffic patterns. I mean, I'm aware there's alternative routes, but I'm just saying, funneling all those people, sort of into left depot or right, what is that? Whatever the street is there, right? I don't
But they
know.
do have the
Seems-
option.
The north and the south.
Yeah, it just seems like that's gonna be, I mean, that turn left onto Depot is very tight. I've had buses coming at me right there, and if that's our only access point, that seems a little,
Well, that's something we.
How
really
about, what if
need
we
to
try,
address.
what if we try it and we give it a year, and if it doesn't work, then the city, we turn it back?
Because the city's gotta pay for it.
It costs more.
And it costs
I
money.
mean-
But, and I'm neutral, I don't care one way or the other, and if, as long as it doesn't affect me, I don't really matter, because when it comes right down to it, that's who I care about, and after that, I care about everything else, but I have to worry about my livelihood and what I do. I've heard about this today, I don't understand what impact it's gonna have, but the agenda I've heard that was argued up here was, the county, the state's paying for it, there was 20 fender benders, non-injury accidents, and there's more in Kroger parking lot.
I've seen at least one injury accident there, and I've almost been in more than one.
Steve, how many injury accidents were there? Do you know the injury of this whole corridor that we're talking about?
I don't right off, but I can get those numbers.
Okay.
But I mean, it just appears by listening that the agenda of the city wanting to vote on this being so adamant from a few council members is the housing authority that is owned by the city of Corbin would be the only one that would gain out of it. They would gain 6 parking spots or 5 parking spots.
No, the businesses would also gain, the businesses that are actually empty right now might be actually something that someone would want to rent, like the clock company and the Graham Trimble business. Those businesses don't have any parking at all, with the exception of parallel parking, which is very awkward with people taking a right off of Main Street right there. So if you had angled parking, it would be much easier to go in and out.
So you go from 3 parallel parks to 6 angle parks.
No, 18, right? How many? What'd they say? I don't know.
18.
I mean, why?
18
There's
18
6.
on, okay.
6
So-
All the way
over here,
down.
Across, and then there's
All the way, yeah.
And I don't mean to be argumentative, I just feel like I've not got no answers for.
No, I apologize. It's
Yeah,
just
I
been a
just,
long
I mean,
day.
it's like, I don't understand none of this, and I was just trying to get some clarity, and I didn't want to talk about this after the council made a vote on it, and go to somebody's office.
Right.
The state would come in, here's the 6 on the Kirkwide, this is the business here. They're using 5 of the housing authorities' parking area right now, they're renting from them and have for several years. There would be 6 right here, which is public parking for anybody, Kirk White's can still use it, anybody can use it. Over here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Stops there because of the steps here, because of Depot Street coming. So there's 17 here, there's 6 here. Like I said before, oncoming traffic will just have to hit left here at Depot, or up here at Dr. Kansas, you can go up and hit I think it's Ellison Street, and come around off of Ward Hill that way.
Have you
But it's
seen?
like you can't come down through here. I'm sorry,
Have
ma'am.
you seen the road going up there?
Yes, ma'am, I know.
It's scary.
It's tight.
It's very tight.
A lot of people do not use that way, other than want to see you all in Oregon.
Yeah.
I understand
But
that.
that's not the only way, though. It's not the only way, because
Oh, that's what I'm saying, you come in here,
can
and
take a
you're
left
back,
on Depot.
you're back on Gordon here, crossing Main Street, where there is a lot.
So Marlon, if you're going through
Or on Laurel.
town, Kentucky and Maine, there's nothing affected that's going on that hill, it's just that space that's in between right there. The two intersections, the two between
The
Corbin.
intersection right here,
Uh-huh.
and the intersection, well.
So you got the bridge of Roy Kidd, you got, what is that road right there, Depot, and what's the other one, Kentucky?
Where you talking?
I'm sorry.
You, come over here, you got me confused.
I'm confused myself.
This is coming off the overpass, so that's Master Street.
I got you. So you're right here. This area to right here would be the only thing that would be affected.
Right, Roy Kidd, right here they stop, here's Main Street.
And from here, coming down Roy Kidd, it's gonna be from this bridge to the
It's gonna be
first.
going this way.
So it's gonna be going this way.
Yeah, you're turning right off
Okay,
back.
so you're coming down Roy Kidd.
Yes.
And if you're coming down this way, traffic flows is normal.
Close, yes. You
Okay.
can turn right here. But that was one reason I wanted to do this, was to make it one lane, actually going down.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I'm sorry for asking 5,000 questions.
No, that's, we like,
I
we
was
want
as,
that.
You're right.
confused as can be about what happened, and somebody told me they had a council meeting, and they was making all Roy Kidd a one-way, and I said, I don't know what's going on.
I'm
just
sorry
walked there
for
and
the
found out what's-
message. It's really.
Thank you for coming.
Sarah, did you have
Just, I have one more question, and I just wanna understand, I'm trying to go over it. I mean, you keep saying the state is paying, is this not from state taxes, or is this from something totally separate?
That's from the state transportation from Frankfurt.
Is that based on taxes?
Okay, not to be that guy, but anytime the government spends money, it's taxed. It doesn't have to.
Well, I will say we have to beg the state normally to spend any money. That's what I'm doing about Master Street. You have to beg. They never, I don't know if they've ever come to us and said, hey, we'll fix this situation for you, ever.
What it tells me.
As a matter of fact, I'll leave tonight to go to Frankfurt after this meeting, and that's why I was being a little grumpy, but I apologize, I can stay here all night if I need to. But
I used to work.
that's what we do, we have to advocate for ourselves.
U.S. Department of Transportation in the Secretary's office, and what I would bet happened was that the federal DOT allotted state so much, so it's coming federal, state, and then it trickles down to local, which we never get.
Right, but, yeah, that's what I'm clear.
A city of 8,000 is pretty easy to throw away when you've got counties that have 35, 40,000. Not to say that they would do that, but I'm just saying we have to fight very hard for everything that we get.
It's not coming out of, it's not fully coming out of our budget, is what I'm saying.
Not Corbin's budget at all.
So you mentioned we're, of course, on an almost separate subject, been fighting to get Master Street fixed. I mean, if they're willing to pay for this, I would much rather than pay for Master Street. I think most people would.
They are Friday afternoon, or the night after the flood, the mayor took pictures that afternoon. I took them. We've been working on this for a year. We have took a camera down under there. To do Master Street and do it correctly is $6 million.
And that's an estimate.
And we're pushing the state transportation director, and the highway
Very
department to
hard.
work. And that's one reason the mayor and I both will be there tomorrow working on it. We're trying to get Master Street fixed. And when we do that, we'll try to get the underpass also.
Okay, so, and aside from, of course, coming out of state taxes, to pay for this, you mentioned once that it's gonna be completely free, and then another time you said low cost. So, is it-
Me?
Is it gonna cost $0?
$0, yeah, I'm sorry, no, yeah. They said that it would be, they look for low-cost ways to help with traffic accidents. So that's why they found this as a it's paint, basically, you know, so that's why and signage and some bump outs, but still, for them, they look at it as a win because it's not a multi-million-dollar project. It's just an easy, low-hanging fruit for them. So it's low cost for the state, no cost for the city. Yes, sir.
One more question real fast. Me and the gentleman here from wholesale was asking, those those parking spaces, will those be open to the public?
Yes.
Yes,
That we completely, okay.
completely open to the
For
public.
overflows.
They're gonna be public parking, but it was a benefit to talk to Kurt White and them, to see, because they've been paying rent to their housing authority for so long. This frees them up, you know, you're not gonna have 6 people going in his office all at the same time, but they can park there now, get out, go in, come back out, and be on the way.
Well, like he was talking, he's got limited space too.
Yes.
If he has overflow.
Anybody can park in
Yeah.
any of those spaces.
Okay.
It's open for the public.
Yes, Mr.
Speaking of Master Street, I'm here with James Family Practice, I don't know if y'all know where that's at, 1013, right there in the corner. The other night when it rained, like we had mud and water and garbage all up into our facility. This is the 5th time that it's flooded down there in a year. I know, Marlon, we spoke, Mayor, we spoke a few times, but we're $75,000 in cleanup and putting new baseboards in and new floors in and everything. So, I mean, it's a waiting game. We've talked to, the governor, we've talked to Mitch McConnell, it's just.
All of that helps a lot. It helps us a lot because it's one thing for them to hear from us. They hear from us all the time, but to actually hear from you all is important. So I appreciate that. And you're actually on the agenda later to declare a state of emergency because we're just trying to get their attention. We're doing everything that we can, so. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just wondering, I can't ask a question, and I did, cause I wanted to know if traffic was going to be going across Main Street one way. One thing I'd like you all to think about is that and it has nothing to do with changing the street, but if there is no traffic going across Main Street, we have a problem on Main Street with people going too fast.
That's right.
It's hard to get out of the car, it's hard to cross the street. I would keep from going into place just because I'm afraid to cross the street. And so when you open that up, if you do this, then you're going to have nobody going across Main Street and traffic flow will be faster. And people, your street lights, if you hit a street light on Green way down on 7th Street, you can just about barrel it all the way up the street. And we're not gonna have to slow down there, so please consider that when you all work with your traffic.
And we've asked them to switch those lights and they have changed them some. You know, here's the thing, it's like, all right, back before it was one way, remember it would take 45 minutes to get through town. And nobody was going through town anymore, so it was hurting our downtown. So then they went to one way and then all of a sudden everybody's speeding through downtown and it makes everybody nervous. So there's no easy solutions to some of the problems that we have. You know, it's just a matter of as good as we can get to solve our problems. But I will say that we have had discussions about a traffic light there. They will not entertain it because of Gordon Hill, the traffic coming down Gordon and turning left on Main, that it would cause a real traffic jam, which they're trying to avoid.
We went to Texas and we saw some things on the way. We'll come talk to you sometime. The other thing I wanted to say is for the people who are new here, I'm on the Historic Preservation Board, and the building she's talking about for the city apartments is the Cooper Heath building, which was originally the Masonic Hall in Corbin, and it doesn't just belong to, well, it belongs to the city of Corbin, but the people of Corbin who went there at the youth center that was there for long, it's a really valuable building in our town, and if we can do anything to help preserve it, that's.
Absolutely, and we do not want to sell it. That's my concern, Miss Diane, is that we've got to make that solvent because it's not fair to the taxpayers to subsidize renters there. So we've got to make it a nice place to live that people will be willing to pay market rent And one of those things is they want a designated parking space. That's just one of the things. I mean, you know, we had to spend $20,000 on getting the elevator fixed. It's insolvent right now. So we're doing everything we can to hold on to that building because it is important to the history, and I did not know it was the Masonic Lodge. I thought it was just the old city hall. So that's, something that I wouldn't have known. So, does anybody else have anything? If not, I will entertain a motion to, hang on a minute. Change the traffic pattern of Roy Kidd in a manner that has been recommended by the highway department.
Motion to change the traffic pattern and accept the state's recommendations. Monroe Kidd.
I'll second.
Ford,
Yes.
Shepherd,
No.
Baker,
No.
Campbell,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes, thank you. I hope that this will be something that works out. It is not too, I know you all are worried. I hope it works out fine. I think that it will. All right, we're gonna move forward
Next on the agenda is
to discuss the Kentucky Wildlands mural contract with artist Kelleen Turner and approve and authorize Mayor Rasmus to sign the contract. So you all just got this right before the meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, you all got this on Friday. Did you all, anybody have any?
Well, there were some changes.
Maggie.
So, I'll be brief, but, so because there are some new city commissioners, I just wanted to bring you up to speed. This has been a conversation we've been going on for probably a year and a half now about a mural. And so the Kentucky Wildlands is a 41 county tourism branding initiative that includes Corbin. And of course, murals are beautifying, you know, the city and encouraging people to come in and appreciate what the city has to offer. So, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So anyhow, initially, you know, we had talked about a mural kind of on the Hamlin and Kersey storage building, so that as you turn the corner off of 18th onto Main, you know, that you would be presented with the mural. Well, after a lot of conversations and time going by, long story short, Hamlin and Kersey is trying to get rid of that piece of property and that building. You will see that they have built a storage site directly on their property. So that building is really condemnable, and needs to be torn down. So that's no longer a viable option for us. So, you know, minds get together, and lo and behold, now I love Big Blue, but I don't think it looks pretty on the Cumberland Falls Highway. The EMS building is owned by the city. Therefore, if we put the mural at that location, people are still coming off the interstate into the downtown area. Right before they're greeted with, you know, the new wayfinding signage pointing them into downtown, they see the welcome to the Kentucky Wildlands. So we wouldn't have to ask for owner's permission or have any type of agreement in place with the owner. And essentially, you know, we could get the project done this spring in time to welcome, you know, all the people that come into our city. Let's see, there was something I was gonna say. The money, so we have, in the downtown Corbin budget, we have a line item specifically for public art projects. So the money has been appropriated, you know, and this project would not exceed the appropriated amount. Now, you know, the proposal includes, basically the full artwork, which, mind you, this is not a fat head that comes off a printer that gets slipped on a wall. It is a true piece of artwork. So the city's responsibility would be to primer the wall, which needs to be painted anyhow. Pressure washed it, which we do on a daily basis, and primer that wall. Primer runs about $32 a gallon or $115 for 5 gallons. So not a very big, cost. But then her proposal includes the mural work, all the supplies, as well as 3 to 4 coats of a sealant that would protect that piece of artwork for years and years to come. So that's kind of the backstory and how to move forward with the project. I had sent you all yesterday, the full proposal and contract. Now, the minor changes to the contract included the changing of the word interior to exterior, and then the project timeline would be May 1st to May 30th, barring, heinous weather. Obviously, that would be beyond the artist's control, but she would want to complete the project just as quickly as she was able to.
Maggie, I love the idea. I still love it. I love the new rendering. I think it's wonderful. I was really hoping it would be on that Henley and Kersey building because it's just such an eyesore. It is condemnable, you say. Can we get that
They
condemned?
spoke with Andy Kersey, one of the owners. They are in the process of looking possibly what they can do with it. It's being utilized some still for storage because the roof upstairs is leaking, but they are working on trying to sell that piece of property.
Actively.
So they're not gonna actively tear it down.
I think they want to give it to somebody.
They're trying to give it someone out.
To tear it down.
Okay, well, that makes sense, as long as it's not gonna
They
be an
have,
eyesore for.
like she said, it is being actively trying to be sold.
Okay. And also the blue that was behind the mural, can we just get it all painted primer?
We will do the other part, let's let them do that first. I don't want to be down there, her doing it and then paint get on it, but we will get the other one soon.
Okay.
That one wall we will do completely right now.
Awesome, okay. I
And
love the idea.
following on what Allison said, I have to say, I've worked with Colleen, obviously she's done work for the city before too. She's reliable and everything, so I'm 100% behind it.
Sorry. So I guess we need this in a motion for me to sign the contract for Kelly Turner's mural on the building that houses it.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Executive Order 2023-1, an executive order declaring an end to the state of emergency. Hallelujah. Executive Order of the City of Corbin 2023-1, executive order declaring an end to the state of emergency. Whereas on March 13th, 2020, President Donald J. Trump declared a national state of emergency in response to the novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas on March 6th, 2020, Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency in Kentucky in response to the first documented case of the novel coronavirus COVID-19, and whereas on March 25th, 2020, Mayor Susie Rasmus determined that the emergency response of the City of Corbin to the novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic required rapid deployment of resources to protect the health, safety, and welfare of citizens, and by Executive Order 1/2020 declared a local state of emergency, and whereas the public health threat presented by the novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic has significantly diminished throughout the United States, Commonwealth of Kentucky, and the City of Corbin, and whereas the need to exercise extraordinary measures to protect public health, safety, and welfare no longer exist, now therefore be it ordered as follows. I, Susie Rasmus of the City of Corbin, by virtue of the authority vested in me by KRS Chapter 39A and 39B, do declare an end to the state of emergency as issued on March 25th, 2020, in Executive Order 1/2020. I hereby order and direct any and all departments of the City of Corbin to resume normal operations. Surprise, right? Signed on this 21st day of February 2023.
I make a motion.
Second.
Baker,
Yes, please.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yep.
Rasmus,
Yes. Resolution 2023-1, a resolution supporting House Bill 64 to amend KRS 15-400 to extend the period of time that a peace officer who was employed as a peace officer as of December 1st, 1998, may be separated from service before losing his or her certification status from 100 days to 365 days. Would you like to speak on this, Marlon?
This was recommended by our KLC staff and board. This was brought by the legislators, and this would help in the police department tremendously. If someone does quit, it's 101 days, then they have to go through the whole process. This way, it keeps it there for 1 year completely. The rest of it, we've discussed and talked about.
And Chief, I assume you are fully in support of this one?
Absolutely.
Is that motion?
Second.
Oh,
Resolution number 2023-1, a resolution of the City of Corbin, Kentucky, supporting House Bill 64 before the Kentucky Legislature to amend KRS 15-400 to extend the period of time that a peace officer who is employed as a peace officer as of December 1st, 1998, may be separated from service before losing his or her certification status from 100 days to 365 days. Whereas House Bill 64 has been introduced in the Kentucky Legislature to amend KRS 15-400 to extend the period of time that a peace officer who is employed as a peace officer as of December 1st, 1998, may be separated from service before losing his or her certification status from 100 days to 365 days. And whereas the City of Corbin, Kentucky finds that adoption of House Bill 64 would benefit the citizens of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the residents of the City of Corbin, and thus the city has determined that it is the best interest of the City of Corbin to adopt this resolution supporting the adoption of House Bill 64 by the Kentucky Legislature. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Corbin, Kentucky as follows, that the City of Corbin strongly supports the adoption of House Bill 64 into law by the Kentucky Legislature, so to amend KRS 15-400 to expend the period of time that a peace officer who is employed as a peace officer as of December 1st, 1998 may be separated from service before losing his or her certification status from 100 days to 365 days.
Is that motion?
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes. Resolution 2023-2, a resolution supporting House Bill 1 to reduce the state income tax rate to 4% beginning January 1st, 2024. Do you want me to read this just to help you? All right.
Resolution number 2023-2, a resolution of the City of Corbin, Kentucky, supporting House Bill 1 before the Kentucky Legislature to reduce the state income tax rate to 4% beginning January 1st, 2024. Whereas the City of Corbin, Kentucky finds that a reduction in the state income taxes as proposed by House Bill 1 to 4% effective January 1st, 2024 would benefit the citizens of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the residents of the City of Corbin. And whereas the city has adopted that it is in the best interest of the City of Corbin to adopt this resolution supporting the adoption of House Bill 1 by the Kentucky Legislature. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Corbin, Kentucky as follows, that the City of Corbin strongly supports the adoption of House Bill 1 into law by the Kentucky Legislature, so to reduce the state income tax to 4% effective January 1st, 2024.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Rasmus,
yes.
Resolution 2022-3, a resolution opposing the passage of Senate Bill 50 and House Bill 50 relating to partisan elections.
Resolution number 2023-3, a resolution opposing the passage of Senate Bill 50 and House Bill 50 relating to partisan local elections. Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has proposed bills in both the Kentucky Senate and the Kentucky House of Representatives to require partisan local elections, including the offices of County Commissioner, Mayor, Legislative Body Commissioners, all city offices, city wards, boards of education, school board candidates, and soil and water conservation officers. And where it has been a collective experience of members of this body that a question of party affiliation is an infrequent question during a campaign, suggesting the voters do not consider this an issue a significant concern. And whereas the statute currently allows local legislative bodies and boards to offer partisan elections, giving those with the best insight into the will of their constituents the ability to make the change if it is desired by the voters, and whereas this will represent a substantial increase in election costs and organizational effords within our jurisdictions, and whereas we have recognized an increased challenge in finding qualified people to serve in local elected positions, and see the addition of a primary election as well as potential for partisan acrimony a further hurdle in attracting good people to these positions, whereas we ultimately see no significant benefit to requiring partisan elections that would warrant the additional costs and challenges presented by the requirement. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Corbin, Kentucky urges our state legislatures to vote against House Bill 50 and Senate Bill 50, as well as any other future legislation that requires partisan elections on a local level.
Several cities have already read this resolution, sent support to legislators saying that they oppose it. It's an issue that a lot of people for certain elections don't want to say, you know, their party.
It's hard enough to get stuff done.
Right.
On a local level, you know? I mean, we certainly don't want to be as inefficient as the state or the federal government, in my opinion.
So the KLC board, this was one of their main agenda items this year, to make sure that we get support for this and not vote it in.
I don't know about this one right now. I just feel like it's too soon. It's to make sure that there are no partisan elections at the local level.
By law, we could vote right now, not right now, because it's a special call meeting, but we could vote to have partisan elections in the city of Corbin. This requires every city, every school board to say whether they're Republican or Democrat.
Okay.
So that's what this law.
The people who put that forward, what was their reasoning to do that?
There was a Republican legislator and a Democratic legislator, I don't know, that brought this bill before them.
They're getting a lot of pushback. I mean, Williamsburg
400
just voted against it.
415 cities all opposed it unanimously.
I just don't see the purpose. I don't know.
Where do our legislators stand on it?
They're not for it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I've talked to all three of them.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
I make a motion to pass the resolution opposing the passage of Senate Bill 50 and House Bill 50 relating to partisan elections.
Second.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Municipal Order 2023-1, a municipal order relating to the establishment of a personnel committee.
Actually,
We don't need that.
no, that's an ordinance.
We already have an ordinance that was hidden in an ordinance amended, why you couldn't find it. We asked.
2012, we amended it.
2012, yes. So there's no need for that.
We actually, she skipped the budget and we actually went ahead and appointed and voted on personnel.
Okay, but we already have okay, got it.
yeah.
All right.
Your personnel committee is the two people that the mayor appoints, and then the police chief and fire chief. And when we interview, and me, and when we do interviews for police chief, fire chief, officers, we bring those people in, department heads.
Gotcha.
All right, everybody good then? All right, moving on. Municipal Order 2023-2, a municipal order relating to the establishment of a budget committee.
Municipal Order Number 2023-2, the Board of Commissioners of the City of Corbin, Kentucky orders as follows. Section 1, the establishment of a budget committee is necessary to the City of Corbin and shall be created by a simple majority vote of the Commission. Section 2, the budget committee will be made up of 2 elected members of the Corbin City Commission along with the city manager. Section 3, the Corbin City Commission will discuss candidates for the committee and will take action with a vote to appoint the members of the budget committee at the first meeting of each new year. Section 4, the budget committee will put together a budget and line item form for a final vote in order to show transparency with public funds, and each department of the city will have all items in line item form in order to see how the funds are being directly dispersed to each item that each department is requesting. Section 5, that the budget committee will have a deadline of June 1st, where on June 1st, a vote will take place on the proposed budget, and if there needs to be an extension of the proposed June 1st deadline, the Corbin City Commission must meet and vote to extend a reasonable deadline for the budget so that it will be ready for a vote. Section 6, if it is not the first meeting of the new year when this municipal order passes, the Corbin City Commission has a duty to immediately vote in order to fill the vacant budget committee positions.
So, I did draft this, and I did think that, especially with the personnel committee, it's an ordinance. Now, Bob, we do not have a budget committee on ordinance, is that correct? Yes, so, from my understanding, this is just basically doing what we've been doing. And also, I mean, we already have, with the personnel committee, we have an ordinance, and it's essentially worded very similar to this. Compared, obviously with personnel, there are things that personnel do, and obviously there's differences that the budget committee does, okay? But as far as like everything else, it does seem pretty similar. We did pass a line item budget last year for the first time. This does require the budget committee to do this, okay? So they do have to present this budget line item form, and we have to pass it in that way, and to basically advertise it in that way as well. I'm in the understanding that that's, for me, necessary. Other cities around us have been doing this. City of Richmond, City of London, many other towns have been going to line item budget for some time now. I think that it's just in good faith that we do that. I don't see anything wrong with that. If there's any questions around the table, of course, I'd be welcome to have that.
I appreciate you taking the time to write the municipal order. I don't understand why we would create more bureaucracy and just another ordinance for the budget committee. And especially because it says, right here in the handbook, KRS 91A, it says it's the responsibility of the city manager and cities with a manager form of government to present the budget to the commission. Number 2, it says the proposed budget together with the budget message must be submitted to the legislative body at least 30 days prior to July 1st, the beginning of the fiscal year, for us to consider, as a commission. But it is the duty of the city manager in this form of government to present it. And I think after last year and the year before, when everybody tried to get involved and we had no idea what we were looking at and what version of who touched what and where it was, and it got really out of hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
My suggestion, I spoke to the mayor, and it's up to her how she wants to present it. Let Tori, who deals with money, payroll, insurance, let Rhonda, who deals with our billing every day, be my budget committee. All 3 of us work together. I've already asked all department heads to bring in their budget proposals March the 10th. Sit down and look at that with all the department heads, and then come back to you all, and we'll start formulating the budget. And I'll call you all in. We'll have little workshop meetings, or 2 of you at a time, and say, here's what we're doing. But where they deal with the money every day, they have the exact numbers. I think that's the best way to do it. And Wallace, if you remember last month, said we need to get away from the line item. Here's another reason. Every time we amend this budget, the newspaper, we only have 1 newspaper in town, that's $2,000. Every single time, if we change $1, that's $2,000. Because we have to put the old ordinance back in there. That's my suggestion, but it's up to you all.
Is there a way to maybe find some middle ground on this, on line item? Like, I know that maybe we got way too specific on the line item to where if we're $1 off, like maybe there's a way to, I don't know, we need to do
Well,
something.
we're doing the line item, but Rhonda's still doing the old way we did it, because it breaks it down exactly and shows exactly if Public Works spent $2,000 on blacktop, it shows it. It shows their whole budget, and then it shows what they spent for this period of time. So we're basically doing the same thing, but
We do get
if we went back to the budget
we do get
once.
monthly financials.
Yes, ma'am.
that-
For the purposes of tonight, maybe we table this to talk about what Susie just mentioned and what Marlon mentioned, and try to find some middle ground or work together.
I'm gonna work with all of you, because I'm responsible to get the budget to you. But I wanna bring each one of you in, or say, in the afternoon, once we get the budget going, say, hey, here's what we're looking at. And I'm gonna show you what the department heads want, what they don't get. We limit what they want and get, and then I'm gonna let you all look at it too. But it's just a lot better. Here's the thing, we amend this budget again between now and June, that's $6,000 we spent in the paper. I'm not knocking the papers, I'm just saying every time we amend this ordinance in the line item right now, that's $2,000 automatically, because it's not no cheaper.
So each department head proposes a budget versus line item, correct?
They bring in a budget request to me, what they want for the next working year. Say Public Works needs a new truck, which vehicle-wise, we're not gonna get any trucks right now. But if they need a new lawnmower, well, we're up to date on trucks. So if Jeff needs a, post toe digger, automatic post toe digger for out here putting fencing up. Right now, well, good example is our printer's down and we're gonna be getting ready, and I'm asking y'all that in a minute. That's $10,000. So if we appropriated so much money and it goes over that in that department, we have to do the ordinance again and spend that $2,000. It's $2,000 every time we do a line item. If it's the old way, we don't have to do that.
I do think though.
We gotta find a way to make it a little tight, a little tighter where Brandon feels comfortable and then not quite. But honestly, I mean, the good thing is that we do get this, and you're able to see every dime that is spent. But we certainly do need to be tight, because our expenses are high and our payroll is high, just like any private businesses right now, and we gotta stay lean and mean.
I do think that, the only thing that I would say is, sure, we can maybe discuss this another day, of course. However, I do think that we still probably should put 2 members on the budget committee just because we're elected representatives, and I would feel more comfortable with that. And I think that's a great compromise.
I'll put the 2 I'll put Brandon then and John Baker on the budget subcommittee.
I'm good.
I'll need that in a motion.
Set motion?
Second.
John, are you allowed to be on as library director?
There we go, okay, yes, the only issue, anything pertaining to the library, I just kind of have to recuse myself, yeah.
We'll get rid of it.
So as long as he doesn't,
Can he still craft the budget?
Well, technically, you can't make that appointment today. No. Because.
We'll just put Brandon then on right now, and then we'll come to the.
Wait a minute.
It was on the first.
Before I got here,
You can still go back and act on it, but we didn't act on it.
Yeah, it was, I'm sorry, I wasn't here. I was on the interstate behind the school bus.
I skipped over it.
Yeah, you didn't make those appointments. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Am I making-
both of them?
We're just making the
Appointing.
budget committee.
I'm
Appointing the budget subcommittee, John Baker and Brandon Shepherd,
Need
correct?
that in a motion.
And I need that in a motion. Got a motion.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gambrell,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Did you make the personnel?
Yeah, I did. Okay. Approve and authorize Mayor Rasmus to sign the agreement with Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways for lighting maintenance at the intersection of 727 and Black Diamond Road.
State sent that to us, I sent it to Bob, reached out to Ron Hurd, the city utilities, it's got a state sentence in there that the city's responsible for the lights, but Ron said that will be done through city utilities to pay for the bill, all the lighting out there.
So city utilities is doing it, but the state's paying for it.
City utilities will pay for the lighting bill each month. State's doing it, they're installing it.
The state's doing it.
Okay.
It'd be like the one, two that one.
And it was, if I.
Please don't bring up anything controversial right now, Bob. I'll kill you.
Just saying.
Sorry. Sorry, Rusty. Oops. Don't let anything happen to Bob tonight.
If I read it correctly, though, that the city is still maintaining, like, that we're responsible for maintenance, though, is that correct?
The city, along with city utilities, will help maintain.
Is that the way you read it?
Yeah, the city, they're paying for everything to be installed.
Right.
Thereafter, the city's responsible for the electric bill and the maintenance of, the bulb goes
So
out.
they install it, we pay the bill.
And I asked Bob, or Ron Hurd, and he said they will help us maintain it.
Okay.
So motion to authorize Mayor Rasmus to sign the agreement with transportation.
Second.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus,
Yes. Approve and authorize Mayor Rasmus to declare a state of emergency of Master Street flooding and contact the governor's office. Did you write one?
Authorize?
Oh,
Have you written one? State of emergency.
You just declare, you just, I can
Okay.
authorize you to do it.
Okay, that's all we got.
Yeah, you just gotta send a letter requesting it.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Rasmus,
yes. So Tori, if you write that for me tomorrow and email it to me, I'll have it running in Frankfurt, so, and Marlin. Approve written determination pursuant to KRS 82083 to declare certain real property adjacent to the Corbin Center surplus and authorizing the disposal of same.
written determination by the city of Corbin, Kentucky, by and through the Board of Commissioners of the city of Corbin, Kentucky, pursuant to KRS 82.083, to declare certain real property surplus and authorizing the disposal of same. Whereas the city of Corbin, Kentucky may declare real property surplus and dispose of same pursuant to KRS 82.083, and whereas real property of the city of Corbin, Kentucky may be transferred with compensation for economic development in the city of Corbin, Kentucky, and whereas the city of Corbin, Kentucky hereby determines to declare certain real property as surplus and to dispose and convey same for monetary compensation to a buyer for the purpose of constructing a hotel adjacent to the Corbin Center, which is owned by the city of Corbin, Kentucky, whereas the city of Corbin, Kentucky hereby determines that the disposal and conveyance of the real property to a buyer for the purpose of constructing a hotel adjacent to the Corbin Center, which is owned by the city of Corbin, Kentucky, will promote and expand economic development in the city of Corbin, Kentucky, and is for economic development purposes. Therefore, pursuant to KRS 82.083, City of Corbin, Kentucky, by and through the Board of Commissioners of the City of Corbin, Kentucky, and also based on the premises above, hereby makes the determination to declare certain real property in the City of Corbin, Kentucky, surplus and convey same to buyer for monetary consideration for the purpose of constructing a hotel adjacent to the Corbin Center, which is owned by the City of Corbin, Kentucky, in order to promote and expand economic development in the City of Corbin, Kentucky, and for economic development purposes, and hereby sets forth and describes the following: the real property declared surplus property and to be disposed of and conveyed by the city of Corbin, Kentucky to a buyer of monetary compensation for the purposes set forth above is more particularly bounded and described as set forth in Exhibit A attached here to, incorporated herein by reference. 2, the intended use of the city of Corbin, Kentucky at the time of acquisition of the above described real property Exhibit A was for economic development purposes to construct the Corbin Center and Corbin Arena, both owned by the city of Corbin, Kentucky. 3, the real property above described Exhibit A is surplus, and it is in the public interest to dispose and convey same to a buyer for monetary compensation for the purpose of constructing a hotel adjacent to the Corbin Center, which is owned by the city of Corbin, Kentucky, in order to promote and expand economic development and opportunities in the city of Corbin, Kentucky. The above described real property will be conveyed to a buyer for monetary consideration by warranty deed.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Advertise for auditors for the current fiscal year.
You all need to give me permission to advertise for that.
Motion to give Marlon, permission to advertise for auditors?
Second.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Discuss quote for replacement of Public Works sign printer.
As you all know, and Brandon, this is a good example of what I was talking about earlier. We didn't know what's gonna happen, but our printer that does the signs over there for the city, Public Works, and does all the banners, is completely shot. I had Josh go over and look at it. His recommendation to us was to purchase not a new one, but a refurbished one. The price on it is $11,410. It's in your all's package. I got 2 or 3 quotes. Josh did too. this would be my recommendation, because we gotta have it. We're down right now, we can't make any signs or any banners of any kind.
Are we gonna have to amend the budget to do that?
I think we've got enough money in there, we can squeeze it. I've looked at it a couple of times, Jeff, and then we'll just have to wait on some other things.
Do you, Jeff?
Hope so.
I'll make a motion.
You said there's like 3 different quotes where,
Yeah, they're in there, but those are all to come down and rebuild it,
Oh, yeah.
everything.
which one do you recommend?
The one, the S quotation, the first one there, SO799. From Sign Warehouse, it is a newly refurbished, and they did throw in, they did charge us for the printing equipment.
Is there a warranty on the refurb?
1-year warranty. If we were to buy a new one, Josh, they were looking at 18.
I'd say 18 to 20. The other 2 quotes that you have are just for them to come and fix what was wrong with it, if that's what was wrong with it. One company come out of Indiana, and he said travel time from Indiana to here, 24 hours of labor. We cover the cost of his hotel, his travel time here, and his travel time back. And that's if he brought all the pieces, if that's exactly what it was. If he had to order more pieces, we would have to pay for that cost, plus either he stayed until they overnight it, if they got it in time, or we have to go back home and then come back. So he said that one quote was just ballpark out of his head as close as he could get it, but don't quote him on that. Sign Warehouse was what, I explained everything that was wrong with it. They said, this is exactly what we think it is, we'll ship you the stuff, but you're on your own as far as that. Now, if you wanted to bring somebody else, it was $8,000, I think. So, and the price of a newly refurbished is $11,000, I think, on the quote. So, and they offer training with it too, where we don't put commas now we're recycling, they'll help whoever's there now set it all up and everything, so.
You definitely need that.
So let me, I make a motion to approve to buy a refurbished machine.
From Sign Warehouse, right?
Yeah.
Second. Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Hire James Drummond as full-time employee in the Public Works Department.
It's recommendation from our Public Works Director to hire him.
Motion to hire James Drummond as full-time in Public Works Department.
Second.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Appointment of Mel Chandler Jr. to the Board of Adjustments. He will be replacing Bill Sauce Sr. has requested to be taken off of the Board of Adjustments due to health issues.
All right, motion to appoint Mel Chandler to the Board of Adjustments.
I'll second.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. City manager's report.
I don't have any better.
Tourism director.
I just want to give you all the calendar events. We just wrapped up the Southeastern Kentucky RV and Boat Show. Tonight I have the Indianapolis to do the Boat RV and Travel Show Wednesday through Sunday. And in case you didn't see, we received a $350,000 grant for a multi-regional tourism promotion project. So
Great job, Maggie. I hear you're spearheading that, so we've got to
That's it.
start. So, that's awesome work.
All right, this being a special called meeting, we can't talk about anything else that isn't on the agenda, so I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Rasmus.